Today we're going to be looking at the Nova Gold X Expert Advisor. So this one, from my first impressions and from looking at the investor accounts, appears to be a true high frequency scalper. It's taking a whole bunch of trades, and we need to see how that edge would actually persist in a real market environment. So here we can see that the gentleman is being very transparent and showing a few different signal accounts, but at the same time we don't really know how transparent he really is until we go and actually look at the signal accounts themselves. I've downloaded an Exynos MT5 and I've actually logged into this one right here, but I think it's still worth going through the rest of the sales page before hopping into that as well as the backtest. So here we can see he's saying that it trades both Bitcoin and gold using AI models that are based on price action. So because of that, it appears to be less indicator based and more price action based. We can also see that apparently it does not use any sort of high frequency, any sort of high risk strategy like a martingale or a grid, and that is more just more of a scalper. It also doesn't need a huge amount of initial deposit to be able to function, which usually means that it's probably not a recovery or martingale bot, because anytime that you cut your losers fast, you don't usually need as much margin. At the same time, each trade has a stop loss and a take profit, so it looks to be very much like a pure play scalper. If we quickly flip through some of these back tests, it looks to me very much like something which is probably hyper spread sensitive, and if you run it with 1 minute open, high, low, close, it's going to look absolutely tremendous. And it's not a ton more information here. Reviews have been pretty mixed so far. The gentleman is also not publishing a signal, he's just giving a live account. So here we can see, if we open up the live account, and this is on the M5, it's just trading an absolutely insane amount, right? There's a huge amount of trades here. But the actual signals only go back a handful of days, from the 16th, and there's just a tremendous amount of trades happening on every given day. So yes, it is profitable, but there's just so many trades here that I would personally be a bit skeptical about the long-term profitability of the system, just because he's going to be paying such an enormous amount of money in spreads to be able to execute this, that frankly his edge would need to be spectacular for this to actually make any money. This is on the M5, right? And see how many trades are here? There's a lot of trading going on, and it might be some sort of candlestick pattern based system. That's what he did allude to in his actual sales page, and that would likely be my guess in terms of what he's doing. He's just looking for some sort of candlestick pattern and trading enormously based on that. I also took the liberty of running a back test here on Vantage. Let's move my head, and as we can see, it is clearly not a profitable system if you take into account spreads. It's not super unprofitable because he's using fairly modest amounts of risk, but the actual it's really just trading a whole lot, right? This was a 1 year back test, and there's 4,762 trades, which is just absolutely astronomical. And I would venture, if we run this with 1 minute open, high, low, close over the same period, it's actually unprofitable here too, look at that. Yeah, so probably it's one of those systems which can be profitable for a few days just by randomness and because you're running so many trades. But if you ultimately try and run this in a real condition, from my personal experience, I highly doubt that running something with so many trades would actually be profitable. So let's go through maybe the inputs tab to see a bit more about how perhaps it's actually trading. It says pure price action system, great. So it says there's no indicators, it's looking for an engulfing pattern or a pin bar pattern. Okay, so there is real strategy here, don't get me wrong, it's not a scam. He's looking for true candlestick patterns, and this can work on higher time frames. If you try and run this, and I ran the backtest on the H1, if you try and do this on a very short time frame, the issue is that you just get way too many trades. And when you get way too many trades, the edge is usually negated because you have to ultimately, you have to pay for the spread. If you were in a pure market condition where there was no spreads, no commissions, yes, you likely could make money. But in the event that you're just trading so much, it's probably not going to actually be profitable. So the entry looks to be candlestick pattern based. You do have the ability to also use different types of risk management. I think you can use a recovery after stop loss if so inclined. Let's try running a back test with that too, just to see what it looks like. And yeah, it's actually worse if you do that too because the risk is just higher. So I don't think he's being deceiving here. He's using a tight trailing stop loss to take profits. There are a few day of the week filters. honestly, it looks like he's being fairly honest, but it's just I don't think the system will work. Not due to deception or anything. It's just like it's so hard if you see this many trades to be profitable because you're really fighting an uphill battle. So overall, not a scam. Seems like he's trying to be as transparent as possible. I just don't know how experienced this guy is, or if he's perhaps still kind of learning how to develop different systems, because in my view, if you trade this much, you're just not going to make money. So guys, hoping you enjoyed the video. It's a bit of a short one today because anytime I see this many trades, it's a candlestick pattern based scalper. You need to have something else to actually have an edge. If you just take so many trades, most likely you don't have much of an edge. So guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.